Hey, Steve Cheston at the Firing Line. I'm one of the staff instructors, and we're going to do a real quick video on how to take the AR-15 apart for care and maintenance and how to reassemble it. Very first thing we're going to do is render the weapon safe. Accomplish that by locking the bolt to the rear, visually and physically inspecting the chamber and the magazine well for ammunition. Once I do that, I'm going to let the bolt go forward, point the weapon in a safe direction. To take the gun apart, I'm going to hit the rear disassembly pin. It's captured, so it'll only go so far. Front disassembly pin. That allows me to separate the upper and the lower receiver. After we get the upper and lower apart, we're going to go ahead and pull back the charging handle. That allows me to remove the bolt carrier assembly as well as the charging handle. When we clean the AR-15 barrel, we should always clean it from the chamber out through the muzzle. It's going to save you some problems and possibly damaging your weapon system. To take the bolt carrier assembly apart, what we're going to do is remove the firing pin retaining pin. Firing pin comes out after that. Rotate the bolt to its unlocked position. Rotate the cam pin 90 degrees. Lift up on the cam pin. Then I can pull the bolt straight forward. Last step in the process is the extractor. Extractor retaining pin. I can actually use the firing pin to push that out. Lift up. That's all I have to do. Now it gives me access to clean all the debris and brass shavings and everything else that gets gummed up in the action. To reassemble, I'm actually pushing down with my thumb to take off some of the spring tension of the extractor. Push the extractor retaining pin back in, and it's not directional. You can install it from right to left or left to right. It makes it a little easier. The bolt goes back into the bolt carrier assembly. Cam pin goes in. Rotate the cam pin 90 degrees. Then I'm going to install the firing pin. I'm going to push the firing pin until it bottoms out. Once that's bottomed out, it allows me to replace the firing pin retaining pin. To reassemble that into the upper receiver, there's two little dog ears recesses in the upper receiver that match the little dog ears on the charging handle. So what I need to do is slide that in, match up the recess with the dog ears just a little bit forward to keep it in place. To reassemble the bolt carrier assembly, the bolt has to be straight out in its locked position. Just a little flick of your wrist will get it to where it needs to be. Line that up, push it, lock back into place. Lower receiver, make sure your pins are still all the way out. Push your pins. Now what I'm going to do to make sure I reassembled everything properly is do a functions check. What I'll do is rack the bolt, engage the fire select lever to safe, pull the trigger, nothing should happen. Rotate it to fire, press the trigger, hold the trigger to the rear. Now rack the bolt, slowly let your finger off the trigger. You should feel and hear a click. That's sear re-engagement. The weapon's safe to fire. There you go. 2 minutes or less on how to take an AR-15 apart, put it back together. Any questions, come and see us at the Firing Line.